Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Penn Sauter, one of the short track. You can see him on the short track late model scene in the Midwest. How are you, Penn?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, of course, you had a pretty big announcement yesterday about what your plans are going to be. Racing a super late model in the Midwest. How exciting is that to get that out there? And this is really, I think, first time going to a lot of these places.
Yeah, obviously it's really exciting. I've been working on this for about a month now. Just can't thank Duke and Ronda Thorson enough for the opportunity to do it, and just all the people that are going to help us over the next summer. Definitely going to be a lot of work, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So really just a lot of people, know your background, your family, and what they've been able to do, and obviously what your dad's been able to do in racing. But what has it been like just to, get the experience that you've had these last few years? And you've accomplished quite a bit. You had a pretty good season last year, but what has it been just like just excelling in your racing career over these last few years? Just, as you get into bigger things.
Yeah, obviously I've been really happy with how the last few years have went. Especially this last year in 2024. Hopping into a limited late, I had no idea what to expect coming from just a little bandolero. Um, you know, my dad made it really easy this summer just by explaining and telling me about these tracks and just everything he taught me over the winter, even building the car last year. It just, I would say his help was probably the most important thing to our success this year.
Yeah. I know with dad kind of scaling back what he's been, what he's been doing on the super scene as well as, on the NASCAR stuff. What has it been like just to learn from him and have his help and just to, be able to teach you things that I once did this and all that stuff.
Yeah, obviously his help has like just the things he knows and he could teach me. I really want to just memorize and just so in a couple years when it comes time when we're building another car, I can like say, oh, well, I know how to do this and try to do it on my own a little bit because he's not going to be here forever to just guide me along the way. But obviously, just the way that he teaches has been really helpful. If I don't understand something, he'll go back and teach me again, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So I think coming into this year, I know you're going to a lot of different places, running Dells, and obviously I know how special that track is, obviously to your family. Um, and then just doing some Midwest Tour races. What is it going to be like racing out there against the cream of the crop, that probably some of the toughest competition in the Midwest and a lot of places that I'm pretty sure you've had the chance to race at before, but maybe not
Yeah.
in a super late model.
Yeah. Obviously, it's gonna be, it's gonna have its challenges. To just be racing against guys that I've never raced against before. I mean, obviously my dad's raced against them, and I'm sure he can give me advice on that. But I'm just really excited for the opportunity to be racing against these guys, and I'm hoping that it'll be a good year.
Yeah. So I know obviously outside of the races you announced yesterday, you're going to be doing some more races as well. Where could outside of the races you announced, where do you think you could possibly head?
I think we're gonna show up to probably a couple Clovers, a couple Marshfields, just small stuff like that. Just a 50 lap Saturday night, something like that. That's something that my dad will really enjoy doing instead of just those big races. They're fun and all, but just riding up there around 3 o'clock and be racing by 7 is obviously something that we really enjoy.
Yeah. So really just driving the race car, working on the race car, but also being, there's also another element to the driving side, getting partners and, doing stuff like this and, interacting with fans. How are you at that? Because it can be pretty intimidating for a young kid like yourself.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, this year, Actually, one thing that I'm really grateful for is when I was racing Bandoleros a couple years back, you know, every time that I would get a fast time or something like that, I'd have to do another interview. And now that I look back on it, I really appreciate that. Just getting better at public speaking and all that kind of things. But obviously, yeah, I'm just like really excited to try to help some charities over the summer this year and getting new partners and just I kind of like it doing that stuff.
Yeah. You talk about charities. I know it's supporting all that stuff. What kind of type in doing that and just giving back to the community? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, obviously, we took my limited down to the burn camp in Milwaukee past summer. And, I really enjoyed just like talking to some of those kids and trying to explain the things and like watching them try to get in the race car. That just brings me joy watching them do that kind of thing.
Yeah. I know, I mean, you're only 14 years old. This is, kind of, this is not, for most 14-year-olds, they would not be doing something like this. Like, what's doing that stuff at an age where kids may not, they may not be doing this kind of stuff. What was that like to experience for you?
Obviously it was different. But most of this like just the kids that, I try to help. It's like feels better to do it younger because I'm the same age as some of the kids, I was dealing with, and it's just good to have that experience and I can relate to some things as being a teenager.
Right. Um, is there like, well, how do you like get mentally ready to get to go racing? I mean, I know it's everybody has their own ritual, everyone has their own routine to get ready. What helps? How do you get ready for just a race? And obviously, looking back on film, doing all the sim stuff, all that stuff. But I'm talking about just like, getting your mind ready to go and racing for 50, 70, 100 laps or something like that.
Yeah, obviously the two main things I always look at that have helped me over this past summer was it sounds kind of funny, but I really like if I didn't get a good 12 hours of sleep before a race, I couldn't perform at my best. And Jen just like riding into the track with my dad and talking over things, just what happened last week, how can we do better from that? Those are just two things that really I really get useful or I find useful.
I'm looking at the schedule right now, and you've got a pretty interesting few tracks on there. The biggest one that kind of sticks out to me, um, the big the Glass City 200 going in Toledo.
Mhm.
What's that going to be like for you?
Yeah.
I know it's all the way in September, but what's that race going to be like to compete in? And I mean, I was there last year, and it was wild.
Yeah. Oh yeah, obviously that's one that I marked on my calendar and I said, this is gonna be fun. Um, but obviously we wanted to do that, having Duke and Ronda and Thorsport be in Ohio and just
Yeah.
one that they could hopefully make it to and just I feel that'll be fun because my dad raced there about 23 years back in ASA, so
Yeah.
whatever he remembers he'll try to help me with. But it'll be fun.
And I know I'm racing at Dell's, I've mentioned it before. I mean, it's an important track for your family. And, what is it like racing there? I know you've had a lot of success there and to carry on, the legacy of your family. What is that? What's that going to mean to race there about a good handful of times this year?
Oh yeah, obviously that means a lot. Just like the amount of times my grandpa and my dad have had success there, even my uncles, it just means a lot because most of them can give me advice or do anything like that. And obviously we ran there most of the summer, just every Saturday night riding up there was fun. But I'm looking forward to. I think we got it on the schedule there 6 times or so, and I think it'll be fun because I've learned the track really well over this last summer.
Yeah. Um, and also, running the Slinger Nationals in July. I know how much, it's obviously a big race for everybody here. But what's that going to mean? I believe if correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be your first time running in the nationals.
Yes, definitely my first time uh running any type of division at the nationals even. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I think I'm gonna get a good use out of the practice day. I thought about that for a while now because we're not going there anytime before. So I think just I mean I've been there in the limited a couple of times and I feel like that'll be helpful. But obviously just qualifying into the Slinger Nationals would mean the world.
Yeah. And then finally, I know we're only a few months away, from your season kind of really starting. But really, what are some of the biggest things you want to accomplish in, as you go to these places in a super late model for the very first time? What are your goals for this upcoming year?
Yeah, obviously I set this year's racing goals, at least getting one win under the belt. But most of all, with these longer races, my goal is to just run all the laps, see where we end up at the end, and try to get something out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Mhm.
Ben, I know this is your first time on here, but let's get to know you a little bit. How about that?
Sounds good.
Best racing moment that you had in 2024.
I'd say probably my first win. That was fun. You know, I think we stayed up till around like 4 a.m. that night, just talking about what had happened that night, and that's just a memory I really enjoy.
Where was that? Where was that at?
The Dells.
Yeah, I mean, to win there, what was I mean, that had to be that had to be a moment you'll never forget.
Yeah, I just remember, I took the checkered flag and I didn't even know what to say at that point because I was like, I went into last year just hoping to just run in the top five, and then like crossing the finish line first, that just meant the world to me. And I just remember the look on my dad's face when I first saw him, and that meant a lot to me just to see him smiling.
Yeah. Um, let's see. What are some of the things that, is there like what's like your go-to place for this is not now this is just in general. This is not before like before race or anything. What's your go-to place for like food and stuff?
We have a really good family restaurant, the Forest, where we live, which I
Nice.
really like. Me and my dad go there probably once a week, if not
Nice.
more.
Nice. Um, I don't know if you listen to music before race, but what's if you do or just in general, what's on Penn's playlist?
Probably John Party Country. I really
Okay.
like him a lot. Morgan Wallen, something like that.
Okay. Okay. Um, finally, what's outs well, what are your what's the track you're most looking forward to running this year? Place that you've not been to.
Um, I'm really looking forward to Toledo. Not like you brought it up a couple minutes ago,
Yeah.
but I'm really looking forward to just taking a trip down there, missing a few days of school, and trying to have some fun down there.
Okay. All right. All right, Ben, thank you so much for the time. And best of luck in your 2025 season.
Yeah, thank you.